Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel and welcome back to another Gilmore Girls video. A little while ago I did a video in which I rated Gilmore Girls characters individually and I had a lot of fun doing it, and I mainly did it for my own benefit. I was just like, I really wanted to do it. I didn't think anybody would care, and you guys actually really enjoyed it, and we had a lot of conversations about the characters. We disagreed on a few things, but I think the most of it we pretty much agreed on. So I thought that it'd be interesting to get all the Gilmore Girls couples, mostly couples. I've thrown a few like ships in there that were like kind of almost a thing, or one person liked that person kind of situation. I just walk through them. There obviously isn't that many, but I thought it was interesting. I'm kind of thinking I want to do these kind of videos slightly more often because I have so much fun sitting down and filming them. So if you do want me to do more of them, then let me know in the comments below what TV shows or film or anything like that, and I'll make sure to link the other Gilmore Girls video in the description below. So firstly, I'm just going to run you through my tier list, and it starts at the bottom. We've got Toxic AF, and that's just, you know, I think it says what it says. Couple that we just do not stan at all. Then we've got Could Be Worse, because like they're not maybe as toxic as, let's say, Dean, spoiler alert, but you know, like they could be a bit worse. Then we've got Meh, pretty neutral. There were positives, there were negatives, don't really care. Then we got Pretty Cool, you know, like you're pretty, I'm pretty okay, I'm on your side, I'm standing you, but you're not quite there yet. And then last we have Tommy and Molly May, just because they are the dream couple, and I think we can all agree on that. As you can see, I've got my list below. I've got quite a few people. Yeah, so I'm quite excited. Okay, so I haven't put these in any particular order, they've just jumped in, so I am just gonna go from the beginning, and that is Mrs. Rory Gilmore and Jess Mariano. And the thing is, I think I've said this in the other video, I am very team Logan and team Jess. I'm definitely not team Dean. But I think I lean more towards Logan. However, I don't know. I'm ignoring the revival of Gilmore Girls because that was just in shambles, and I can't even begin to know. So I don't know. It's a sticky one. I don't think they were quite Tommy and Molly May, just because, you know, he did just leave out of nowhere. They gave no note, and I know that he came back and did the whole speech at Yale being like, I'm ready for this, you can count on me now. I know you couldn't count on me before, but you can now, you can. No, I know we're supposed to be together.
We're supposed to be together.
I knew it 2 years ago, that whole speech, but she said no. And I feel like if she really loved him, she would have gone, and she didn't. And I don't think she was with Logan at that point. I know she cared about him, I think, but maybe even, I don't know, honestly I can't remember the whole timeline. But then again, I know that he still had feelings for her in the revival, and he gave her the idea to write the book. And then when the whole car crash thing happened, he made sure she was okay. Like, I'm gonna go Pretty Cool. Just because I feel like as the young couples, it's what, as a teenager when you're watching this show, this is what you strive to be and you want this. But he was a little, like when he went and saw Emily for the first time, you know, the whole black eye situation, she was very like accusative. Is that even a word? Accusative? Accusational? She accused him of automatically getting into a fight with Dean, which wasn't the case. Do you know what I mean? But he was really rude and late, and yeah, I think as they grew up, I think they could have made the perfect couple. As teens, I think they were pretty cool, but they weren't quite there yet. Probably the best way to divert is now Logan and Rory. And I have a similar issue. I just think that they are kind of perfect for each other. I think that she brought out his calmer side because he was so that teenager that we, you know, very had the whole white privilege and trust fund and all that situation. And even though she thought that she didn't have that one, she definitely did. There was a bit, she wasn't as thingy about it than he was. But also she was very scared and, you know, quiet and calm, and he brought that side of her out. I didn't like the way that she became the character that she had, because she had the worst character development I think I've ever seen in the show. And I explained this in, like, I think a lot more detail in the first Gilmore Girls video that I did. I really enjoyed Rory's character, and then she just decreased. And I can't tell if Logan was a big part of that or not, because I feel like he had his head screwed on. Like, when they were arguing about the whole party and the piece that she wrote that was making fun of all of his friends, and you know, he was like, whether or not you like it, you're one of us. And she was like, well, no, I'm not. And it's like, yeah, babe, you are. I think for now, I'm gonna put them in Tommy and Molly May, just because I know there's so much love there. I'm just gonna stick with that for now. Next, we've got Luke Danes and Lorelei Gilmore, which I think it's obvious that they are meant to be together from the beginning of the show. I quite like them as a couple. And honestly, I think that they deserve to go in Tommy and Molly May. I know I said that Lorelei wasn't my favourite character, whereas I quite like Luke as a character. He's very grumpy and moody, but like I like him as a character. But they both are very similar and they get each other, and that's why I'm going to stick them in there. Next we have Lorelei and Max Medina, who honestly I really like Max as a character. The only thing I don't think he should have done was include Rory in a few of the situations at school. When Lorelei wasn't speaking to him or broke up with him and stuff like that. Like, I think that was a very like immature thing to do, and as an adult and as her teacher, you have to leave her out of it, and I don't agree with that. But I think that honestly, they were such a good couple. Obviously Lorelei was the one that decided to just go because she was like, I don't love him, like he's great and he's a good guy and he looks after me, but I don't love him. Which sometimes you can't help, do you know what I mean? That's not necessarily her fault. I think that Max deserved better because he was a sweet guy. So as a couple, this isn't obviously based on just character. As a couple, I'm gonna be meh, just because as a character, I really enjoyed it. I thought he was a great character. But as a couple, he could do so much better. Okay, next we have Lorelei and Jason. Jason Styles, I believe his name was. And he was Richard's partner when Richard started his own business, and they kept their relationship a secret because they grew up together, so they knew each other, but then obviously they hadn't seen each other for ages, and then he ended up getting her fired from a catering thing that her mum was doing because of some business deal, the whole situation. They ended up going out. She didn't want to because she was scared of what her mother would say, but obviously they ended up going out. They were together for a while, and then it all came out, and then her father ended up suing Jason, or no, left him with the company. That was the whole situation. Jason ended up suing Richard, who's obviously Lorelei's father, and she was like, I can't be with somebody who's suing my family. Like, I know that, you know, my dad's wronged you, but like I can't be with you. Which is understandable to an extent, but at the same time, he's your boyfriend and your dad has literally given him nothing. It was a whole situation. But I thought that their back and forth, personally, was even better than Luke and Lorelei's. He was so quick with what she was saying and the comeback and stuff like that, which obviously is a big part of Lorelei's personality, and I don't think that, I thought Luke had it, but a lot of the time Luke's more just like, what, like you're crazy, like, you know, enjoying it and thinking it's cute and like liking that side of her. But I think Jason really actually gave it back to her. So I'm also gonna can I put them both in Tommy and Molly May? Because it's a different couple, but it's the same person. So you know what, yeah, I'm gonna stick to that for now. I might end up moving Luke and Lorelei down, you know. But I feel like they're endgame, so like, I can't really, can I? Do you know what, no, I'm moving Luke and Lorelei into pretty cool, because like the engagement, and then the engagement was off, and then like the whole kids situation. Oh my god, can we forget about April for a hot second? I completely forgot about April. I hate April. She was such a useless storyline. I'm sorry, she was not needed. I can't even. The fact that he didn't want to get married because of April is just, it says a lot about your relationship, and the fact that he didn't tell her. So I'm gonna put him in pretty cool. I can't believe I forgot about that. Next we've got Lorelei and Christopher. I've been watching, I can't remember his name because I've stopped watching them, but I binged them for a few days. It was one of a reaction channel, Geek Nation, something like that. And he was watching Gilmore Girls from the beginning, and I got into like season 2, I think, like of watching him watch every episode. I've got a text. And he was even saying like, how is everybody so forgiving of Christopher so quickly? And I agree. I honestly completely agree. Like there are comments that Rory and Lorelei were making of being like, oh, he said he's gonna come, that means there's a 50-50 chance, or like a 60-40. Or you know, stuff like that that's like, yeah, okay, it's funny, but at the same time, like it's literally not, like he's your dad and he's just not being a dad. I know that Lorelei was the one at 16 to move away, but that's still not an excuse. I think they had a lot of history and they have a lot of chemistry. I do, and I think that if Rory wasn't born at 16, when Lorelei was 16, I think maybe they could have ended up together because they, you know, their families approved of each other, which would make their life a lot easier when, you know, Rich and Emily are parents. And they got on really well, and I feel like even Christopher had that same back and forth with Lorelei than Luke maybe even did. So I am gonna put him in pretty cool just because I'm not a massive fan of Christopher, so I'm gonna stick him in pretty cool for now. Next we've got Sherry and Christopher. And Sherry is the woman who Christopher ended things with Lorelei with because she was pregnant and then got married and all that stuff. I don't like them. I'm gonna stick them in Could Be Worse because they're not toxic as hell, but like Sherry literally left Gigi to go to Paris. Chris was calling Lorelei to deal with it. She was really, really pushy with Lorelei and Rory. I just don't like them together. It's a weird couple. I'm not a fan. Then we've got Sookie and Jackson, who are going straight into Tommy and Molly Mae because they are just adorable. Like, you can't not like them. They are freaking adorable. And when they first started dating, it was the cutest thing. And then the basket situation, like, it's just, I love them. There's not much to say, I just love them. Then we've got Emily and Richard Gilmore, who, again, I'm sorry, are going straight into Tommy and Molly Mae. Richard, I think, is an amazing character. Emily is not my favourite, but I still love her. I think they are perfect for each other. I know that they disagree in a lot of things, but I think they ground each other in different ways. I think they're such a good mixture of the calm and the actually being realistic with certain things, and they're both quite, what's the word? When you think you're better than people. Emily's more so, but I think they're quite similar in that sense. I know they had that little break, but they end up getting back together obviously, and honestly, I just think they're perfect for each other. I love them. Then we have Lane and Zach, and I think I mentioned this in the other video, might be wrong, but I'm not a massive fan of Zach. Again, correct me in the comments if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure that Zach was more of a step-in of a love interest because the guy who played Dave left. Zach was just a bit like, I don't want to say he's stupid because that sounds mean. I'm gonna sneeze. I just feel like he hasn't got much of a personality to him. I don't think they look great together, and I feel like Lane was such a good character. She was such a good friend to Rory. She dealt with a lot of shit when she was at home before she moved out, like basically hiding the entire person that she is. I just feel like they could have done way more with Lane's storyline, and I love Lane. I think she's a great character. I'm not gonna say they're toxic because they're not, and it's not even meh because I do care, so I am gonna stick them in Could Be Worse. Then we have got Lane and Dave, who personally I think are great for each other, because Lane obviously had such a recurring issue about dating guys who weren't Korean and weren't approved by Mrs. Kim. And most of them in the end tend to, obviously, from no fault of their own, to be completely honest, at the age of like 15, 16, being like, yeah, I'm not doing this because obviously I can't even call you at your house. I have to make up this whole like situation first and then lie and sneak and stuff like that. And obviously it's gonna be long and it's a lot of effort before even going on a date. Dave, on the other hand, was so okay with it and like obviously introduced her to the band and was able to like make her follow her dream in that aspect. And like he stayed up and read the Bible in 24 hours, like all night, just to prove to Mrs. Kim that he like really wanted to be with Lane and stuff like that. And he was like, nothing was ever too much effort. Like, I hate the fact that they just dropped him. I don't know if he left or if they dropped him. I don't know what the situation there was, but I honestly think they were perfect together, and I still think that they would be better than Zach and Lane, because it's just, oh, Zayn could have been their ship name. Okay, next we have got Dean and Lindsay. My opinion of her switched so quickly. When I first saw them together, I thought that I didn't really like her, purely because she was like nice to Rory, but like kind of blunt when they first met, when they were at the hockey game, and then Rory found out that Dean was obviously with somebody else, which is fair enough. I can understand it being a bit awkward, especially at the age of like 16, 17, but she was still like fairly nice. Then suddenly she was like giving Rory and Lorelei like dirty looks in the town meeting, but then when they were outside talking, she was really, really nice. It was really a bit confusing. I was just a bit like, oh, like you're just being funny and like childish, but at the same time, you're like 16, so I kind of get it. But then she was being so sweet, trying to make the perfect dinner for him, and you know, she was asleep and she answered his phone by accident because it woke her up, and he was screaming at her even though he had just slept with Rory. And then obviously she found the letter and like was throwing all of his stuff out the window, which, fair dues, like you cheated on your wife. Keep in mind, he proposed, wife, moved in, not just like girlfriend at this point, which wouldn't matter either way, to be honest. You do not cheat. But yeah, like I kind of felt sorry for her, and I thought that she deserved a lot better. So I'm gonna say meh, because I think that her as a character would be like top tier or pretty cool, but them together, she deserves way better. So meh. Then of course we've got the classic Rory and Tristan. I didn't like him when he was being the whole like I'm so cool for school, and like obviously he got in so much trouble at school and then ended up leaving or getting kicked out, which again I don't know if that was his choice to leave, because I know he did quite a few things after, just like Dave did, or if that was the writers. I have no idea. I don't think that Rory gave him much of a chance to show that he could be slightly different, a bit like Jess, bad boy sort of gone wrong, well gone right. But in her defense, she was with Dean the majority of the time, I think. And he was just a bit too much. So I'm gonna say pretty cool, because I think that they would have worked out really well together. I'm not gonna lie, I took this picture, I took a screenshot, but it's ended up just being a door. I don't know who this is. Oh, do you know what? I think it's, yeah, it's Paris. It's Paris and Tristan. Like I said, they weren't a couple, just like Tristan and Rory weren't, but they like went on a date. I'm gonna say meh as well, because I don't really like Paris as a character. A lot of people really disagreed with me on that one. I'm just not a massive fan of her. I thought she was quite annoying and not needed, and she was too much for Tristan. Tristan would have ended up like just treating her like crap. It would have been I don't really care, to be honest. Then we have Paris and Jamie, who in Chilton days I would have put in Tommy and Molly May, because they were cute. He was like very open with what he wanted and straightforward and to the point, which is all good, and she wasn't used to that, and they were cute together and they had like similar interests, because they were both at that debate thing. But then she ended up cheating on him with Asha once she went to Yale. So I'm gonna put them also in meh, because they would have been such a good couple, and if it fizzled out, it fizzled out, because obviously again they were in high school. Stuff like that does tend to fizzle out once you hit to college, and especially because she went to Yale and he went to Princeton. Speaking of Asha, then we've got Asha and Paris, who, I'm sorry, but I'm just gonna put them in toxic, because I go for older guys normally. I understand the whole appeal, but he's like, what, in his 60s and she was like in her 20s. Also, she cheated. Like, it would be one thing if they were just in love and like very happy, and I would have been like, do you know what, bit weird, but you do you. But the fact that she cheated on Jamie, who was such a nice guy and patient and was sweet, maybe it could be oh, I don't know. No. I'm gonna go could be worse. Could be worse. Then we've got Maury and Babette, who are just the freaking best couple ever, and I want a relationship like them. So Tommy and Molly May right away. Speaking of best relationship, then we've also got Kirk and Lulu. Again, I cropped it at a weird angle, so sorry. If Kirk didn't meet Lulu, I do not know who would have settled for him, but she's so sweet and kind, and they're just perfect together. Okay, Luke and Anna can go right in the bin, toxic as fuck. Her name's Anna, I think, yeah. She was the woman who had April, Luke's daughter, and never told him, and then was like trying to keep him from her, even though my cat's trying to get out. Yeah, April and Luke had such a great relationship, and the second he knew he was a father, he did everything in his power to be a good father, and Anna, tried to keep April away from him. That was confusing. So she can just fuck right off, to be honest. Then we've got Rachel and Luke, and I thought Rachel was quite a cool character, and I thought that they were pretty good together. The only thing I didn't like about their relationship is the fact that she was obviously leaving all the time and just sort of fucked him off when he was a smitten kitten. I understand why she did it the last time, because he was obviously really into Lorelei and she knew that, and it just wasn't fair for her to stay. But I'm gonna put her in pretty cool. And then last but not least, we have got Luke and Nicole, who's the lawyer, and I think that they could have actually been really good together, because yeah, she was a bit funny with Lorelei for good reason, because obviously Luke fancied her, but when he met her parents and was trying to be a good boyfriend, she was pretty like cool and calm about the whole fact that obviously her parents were kind of moaning at him about the whole kid thing and the divorce situation and all that stuff. And she was still like making jokes, being like the others escaped through the window and stuff like that, and I thought that was pretty like kind of Lorelei of her. Like, it was pretty chill, and I'm gonna put her in pretty cool, because I thought that they got on really, really well. So yeah, so those are my thoughts on the Gilmore Girls couples and ships. Let me know what you agree and disagree with. Let me know if I've forgotten anyone. I don't think I have, but let me know. Like I said, any other shows you want me to do? I'm thinking maybe The Vampire Diaries, or Friends, Big Bang Theory. What else do I watch? Stuff like that. So let me know what else you want me to have a look at and do these tier lists. Yeah, make sure to subscribe, and I'll see you when I see you. Bye.